Hello. Today I'm just going to talk about the meditative practice of chanting. I've designated in this video the Maha-Mantra or the Hare Krishna Maha-Mantra, but also includes any other form of mantra chanting directed towards God. So I'm just going to go through some different techniques. The idea behind what I'm saying is that just chanting a mantra in and of itself is not especially effective unless you're employing some kind of internal technique along with that mantra chanting. So I'm just going to offer 5 different techniques that you can just try out in your own time that will all have a different kind of effect on. They're all a different form of meditation in themselves, but they can all be done whilst chanting the Maha-Mantra or any other mantra of your choice in relation to God. So I'll just start. The first sort of form. If you're not familiar with chanting, it's normally done on beads, or can be done on beads, out loud on a japa mala like this, and you kind of just like hold the bead and then chant the mantra and move around the rounds like that sort of thing. And these are all various techniques that you can engage in whilst doing that practice. So this is just an example of it. So with the Maha-Mantra, the mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so it sort of just sounds like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare. And you kind of just move around them like that. But what I've found is that for most effective chanting, although it will have some effect if you just sort of sit down with the beads and start doing it for a period of time, normally anything from half an hour to say 2 hours or something like that, it will be effective, but it's better to actually have some kind of technique that you employ whilst chanting the mantra. And like I say, the different techniques that can be employed give different results as well, and can work on different aspects of your being, sort of thing. So the first one I'm going to cover is personal relationship, and that's the idea that whilst chanting this mantra, one conceives of God as a person in which they can actually have a personal relationship with, and then in that feeling of what the relationship with God is, in sort of the science of Bhakti, it's talked about that there's these 5 different rasas that people can be in, which is kind of, this is more of a technical element, but the idea is that you could be in a mood of a servant, or as in a mode of sort of neutrality, or as a friend, or as the parent of God, or as a lover of God. And they're like these different types of relationships that you can feel in relation to God. Otherwise it might just be pre-existing how you already feel towards God, but the idea is that you make it personal, and then whilst chanting the mantra, kind of direct your energy towards God as a person and work in that actual personal relationship with God. So feeling that you're actually in that transpersonal realm, like person to person, relating to God like that whilst chanting. And so that's the first one pretty much. The next one is emotional connection. So that's actually engaging more the actual emotions in the chanting process itself. And by doing that, again, you're kind of working with the personal sort of relationship with God, but you feel a type of emotional connection to God. Open up the emotions to feelings of devotion and stuff like that. And one specific one that can be worked on is actually just directing love in the heart, directing love towards God, and just sort of feeling that loving feeling and just chanting for a long period of time, just focusing on that loving feeling in the heart. And that sort of is a way of cultivating feelings of love and stuff like that, and can sort of open up more into the emotional side of things and open up that emotional aspect of the self. So that's the next one. The third one I've got is focusing on the sound itself. So this is probably one of the more common ones, where you just, whilst you're chanting the mantra and the sound is coming out, just focusing the mind actually on the sound of the mantra itself. And then, but sort of the key to doing this is that you're using focus, so you have a focus on the mantra, but bringing awareness into that at the same time. So the idea that it's all about concentration is sort of a bit wrong. You don't just strictly need to concentrate on the mantra, but you have an element of concentration, and if the thoughts wander, then you bring them back to the mantra again. But more importantly, at the same time as having that concentration, there's an element of freedom and awareness within your own consciousness, a type of freedom and awareness that exists. And that's quite a good way of understanding with that, just focusing on the actual form or the sound of the mantra. The next one is sort of getting into more formless styles of meditation, and to do that, it's you're chanting the mantra, but more of the focus is done not on the mantra itself. So to not focus on the mantra and just make it more about the sitting, and gradually will open up into these other states. If you can pick up on what the states are, it could be like a deep causal state or something like that, and then just sit and chanting the mantra and sort of feeling it a little bit, still feeling the personal relationship or something like that, but more focused on the idea of getting into a deep state, which can move into more kind of formless types of meditation whilst chanting. And the last one that I'm covering is just the Rup Dhyan meditation whilst chanting. So to do that, essentially you just chanting the mantra and then visualize a form of God of your choice, the way in which you wish to visualize God, and then visualize God in front of you, either in full body, or you can also do it as, say, a small version just sitting up above the face, sort of like that, about that height, or you can just do a full body and then do the meditation whilst meditating on the actual form of God, at the same time feeling that relationship. And you can combine the rasas with that as well, actually feeling yourself to be a lover of God or to be a friend or something like that, and feeling those different rasas in relation to God. And you can also move that into more active visualizations as well, in which you visualize whole scenes where God is, and participate in various pastimes with God, which can be based on the scriptures and stuff from actual pastimes that you've got, say things that Jesus did, or things that Krishna has done, or Shiva, or something like that, and then visualizing those things actually happening, either visualizing them separate from yourself, or visualizing yourself in the pastime as well, and then going through that sort of thing, and you can do that whilst chanting as well. So that's a type of visualization, or even a type of journeying sort of thing. So that's basically just some ideas of different techniques to employ while chanting the Maha-Mantra, and or any mantra of your choice, and employing one of those techniques will be a much more effective way of actually doing it, employing some type of technique to actually move yourself into a different state of consciousness whilst doing it. And generally you would just do it for, say, half an hour at a time. If it's the Maha-Mantra, say, half an hour could take, say, four rounds of 108 beads. So you could chant anything from, say, 4 rounds to 16 rounds, which is about 2 hours or something like that. So that just gives an idea. One other thing that you can try is chanting in the mind instead of chanting out loud as well. That's another way of doing the chanting too. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful in some way, and if you already chant, I hope it's given you some different ideas as to how to improve your practice. And if you haven't tried chanting before, it is quite a good method. It can also be very prayerful, which offers quite a lot as a type of practice. It can be quite prayerful. So yeah, I hope you got something out of that, and have a good day. Thank you.